Pandemic border restrictions robbed the de Klerk-Musgrave family of so many more moments like this. Mom Jaslyn and daughter Maddie live in Tillsonburg, Ontario, while Dad Thomas lives a 3-hour drive away in Ohio. Forced apart for the vast majority of the pandemic, when Jaslyn learned of the changes, she was instantly overwhelmed.
And I saw the headline and I just started bawling in the parking lot. I couldn't drive anywhere because the tears just wouldn't stop.
Fully vaccinated travelers will be allowed into the U.S. at land and ferry border crossings starting in early November. Proof of vaccination will be required, while there is no requirement for a negative COVID-19 test. Those who had AstraZeneca will likely be included, and a decision on whether to include those with mixed vaccine doses is expected by the end of the month.
So we want to get to that fully reopened state as quickly as we responsibly can, but it's always first going to be guided by doing what's right to beat this pandemic.
Ottawa is now facing pressure to make some major changes of its own to drop the negative COVID test requirement for entry into Canada.
I think it will lead to a lot of Canadians that will be reluctant to come into the United States. So there's a cost associated with that, but it's also an additional administrative step that I think is unnecessary.
Canadians who want to day trip into the U.S. are being told they can get a test in Canada before they leave and use that same test to get back into the country.
We're going to allow that test to remain valid for 72 hours, and that could involve multiple trips.
We're ready for life to restart.
Jaslyn can hardly wait for the border details to be worked out, but is more excited that she finally has some certainty that her 3-year-old daughter will have the chance to get to better know her dad.
Okay, so Katie, we've heard now from Ottawa that COVID tests for returning Canadians will be good for 72 hours. So that should mean you can get a test here if you're looking to go to the U.S. for a day trip. But what if they say longer than that?
A negative PCR test will still be required to get back into Canada. So if a person is out of the country for more than 72 hours, that means they will have to get that test in the U.S. And those can be expensive depending on how quickly you need a result. It can be around $200 American per person. For now, the Canadian policy is not going to be changing either. Andrew.
Katie Simpson, thank you very much.